This run was crazy. A lot of struggle, a lot of effort, but it all paid off. This is definitely my biggest accomplishment in the game, and I doubt there is much I can do to top it. I wanted to give a backstory of sorts, mainly for those who aren't familiar with the game, or the competitive scene of the game. If you just want to skip to the run, the time is on the screen now. Alright, here we go. Tsuchisaka was released at the end of February, and since then, there have only been 3 people to hold the world record. 3 people to have a sub 3 minute 50 time. The first to lead this charge was Zach, who held the world record pretty much since the map's release, and slowly worked his way down to a time of 3 minutes 49.9. This would stand for about a year. Around 3 months ago, I decided I wanted to challenge myself more than I ever have before. I wanted to be the second person to hit a sub 50, and I wanted to do it in a car that wasn't the best suited for this map. The FDRX7 has pretty much been at the top of the leaderboards on the map, both uphill and downhill, with no other car being able to show more potential. My goal wasn't to exactly get world record, that would have just been a bonus. All I wanted to do was be one of the elite few that could get a sub 50, and do it in a car that wasn't the FD. I spent hours upon hours on this map, managing to get my theoretical personal best down into the sub 50 range. However, that was only half the battle. Putting the run together would be a whole other challenge, and would take me much longer to do. On my path there, I managed to get a fluke run from 50.5 to 50.0. As much as that was amazing, it was only luck. I didn't feel that I was good enough to push the 49 yet, and I was correct. I would be stuck at that time for a long time. While that was happening, another driver decided it would be a good idea to also shoot for that sub 50. Except they weren't planning on stopping at that 49. They wanted that world record. And while I was doing some practice runs on Tsuchisaka, Nodes sends me some messages. Not just of him getting a sub 50, but multiple sub 50 runs, including a 49.6, which at the time frustrated me. Although I wasn't specifically going for that world record, it was definitely possible and in the back of my mind, and that run pretty much shattered all hope I had of getting world record. This shocking revelation halted my progress, until the 3rd of April, where I managed to get the run. Down on my ghost over a 10th into the last sector, I managed to pull together my best last sector at the time to get that sub 50 by around 20 milliseconds. That's where the story should have ended. However, around a month later, my delusional ass decided I wanted to go for that world record. That grind was tough. Countless sub 50 runs, over 10 runs within a 10th of a second behind world record. I wanted to give up. I kept telling myself it wasn't possible. I felt hopelessness at times when I wasn't making progress. I had a run where I was 3 milliseconds off world record, losing out to upshifting too late a second before the finish line. However, after all that, after all the grind, the blood, sweat and tears, I managed to get this run.